And I'm Alex Kahneman.
And tonight is a special episode. We're calling it Mimosas at Night because, we're not recording at day.
We're not recording. So this is the non-morning show for non-morning people.
Yeah, this is the reality morning show.
Yeah, right?
Of what people that aren't morning people are like. So, Alex, we missed you last week. You were on vacation. How'd it go?
It was fantastic. We went out to Colorado and stayed the night or stayed the whole week pretty much. And we had this really nice condo that was just like right on the mountain, and we got to go skiing, and we got a massage one day, and I got to go to the hot sulfur springs one night. So it was awesome. It was like 12 degrees outside, but the pools were all like 100 to 112 degrees, and so you'd like get in it and sit.
And was it snowing around you?
Yeah, it was like snowing around, and all the steam. It was great.
I did that when I was like when I was younger. We went to Colorado, and it was super weird to be able to like sit in water while it's snowing around you. It was just, it's a strange feeling.
Yeah, we also got to see tons of mountains. I mean, just everywhere. We drove all around through them, and we got to watch the sunrise over the mountains one day. That was pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
And just driving down the road, like the car was just pointed right at it, and we were just driving straight for forever through Nebraska, and there was just like the last bit of the mountains off in the distance, and the sunrise was coming over it.
What would you say would be the? So you went to Colorado. If you were to give a guide for at least one thing to do while you were in Colorado, what would you suggest for someone going there within the next few weeks to do?
If you're going to Colorado within the next few weeks, you should go with the thought of a lot of their roads are closed right now.
Gotcha.
Which means like a lot of the like hiking trails and things like that which are so far up in the mountain, are covered in snow, and the roads to get there are covered in snow. So really your best bet is going to be like going tubing. That's something cheap that you can do. And I think you should do. Like, I think if you're in Colorado in the wintertime, you just have to go experience being on the mountain, because like that's what you're there and you see it. It's this big magnificent thing. You might as well interact with
the Rockies,
with the actual countryside, you know.
Right.
And I would recommend doing that. And also, I mean, like, I'll probably have to tell everybody, you have to go to the hot sulfur springs. It's like the most relaxing thing you'll ever do. And it's just good. It makes you feel good, and it just like makes the whole next day of your life better. I don't know. It was just one of the most wonderful places, and it's very, very relaxing. You have to just go.
So that was your week last week. You did a lot of adventuring.
Oh, yeah. And lots of food. Holy crap! I almost forgot. If you go to Granby, Colorado, you have to go to this place called Pepe Osaka's Mex-Asian Fish Tacos.
That sounds amazing.
And tequila bar.
What? That's a lot of things to wrap into one restaurant.
Yeah, we ate there 3 times. It was so good. I had these ahi tuna poke tacos. It's crazy. So you go in, right, and it looks like a Mexican bar, and like they serve chips and salsa, and it's like the house-made chips and just delicious or whatever. And then they're like, "Oh, do you want a margarita?" And it's like, "Great, yeah, I'd love a margarita." And they're like, "Well, we have a ginger-infused tequila. Do you want that?" And it's like,
and you're like, "Absolutely,
absolutely,
that is all I want."
All right, so we're having ginger margaritas with chips and salsa, and then we order beef sashimi comes out as our appetizer.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's already just getting weird. And then the ahi tuna poke tacos with like a corn tortilla. They're so good. It was mind-blowing. So nice. Yeah, if you go there, you have to go there. Basically, if you go to Colorado, enjoy the food. There's a lot of good food all over the place.
Nice. Well, this last week, I felt old. I just got a message on my Facebook that my 10-year high school reunion is coming up. And so, yeah, it's been 10 years since I've been out of high school. I'm 28 years old now. And it's starting to flash back. I don't know if I really want to go.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in 10 years later. I mean, I already have Facebook. I already have Instagram. I already have Twitter. Most of the people that I actually wind up talking to, I already know if they're married or if they have babies or any of that other stuff. I can't imagine. I don't know. Would you go to your 10-year high school reunion?
I probably would.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I mean, like, mainly just because, like, I'm actually really interested in getting to, like, visit the people of my past in a situation and seeing what that's like. and knowing that they're all completely different now.
Right.
But I mean, like, wouldn't we all just almost have to go back to acting like the way we did around each other before?
Well, that's the theory. Is like, what is it? There's a psychological theory that like people that you knew from your past, you can meet them like 10 years down the road. You're still gonna act the same way because that's the way that you were comfortable with reacting to them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they always say like people that go to prison or anything like that. When they go back to these areas that they came from and stuff, it can be dangerous for them because they might fall back into their same patterns or not know how to say no, like they've been rehabilitated and stuff, and if they were put into a different like location or anything. And I'm not saying that I'm going to go to prison by going to my high school reunion. I just right. I wasn't that bad of a person in high school, I feel like. It was just it's just something that like it feels like a flash forward so fast that like now I'm 28 and I'm like, oh yeah, I have been out of school for 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think about.
It is crazy to think about. I mean, like, I'm still mind blown that it's been like 8 years for me, and so like the fact, like, so like, and you just got to a decade.
I got to one decade,
which is also weird to think about that like you've been out of high school for 10 years and you're not even 30.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't, I don't know, it's just
when I got out of high school, it seemed like it was forever away, and now it's here, and like now I'm just imagining like the 20-year is going to be, it's going to fly by even faster, and I'm going to be like, oh man, I just remember when I got my 10-year anniversary and stuff, like, maybe I'll go to 20. I think 20 would be good. I feel like 20 years away from something is a good enough time to find a lot of changes. I just don't know what I would talk about with people and stuff, like.
Yeah, I mean, just like whatever you're doing at the time.
I guess, yeah.
Like, I mean, if you ended up going to this one, you'd probably just be like, well, yeah, I do a lot of podcasting now.
That's true. I'll have to talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Which, to the West, I know, that sounds like not a bad time.
No, yeah, talking about talking.
That's great.
So, you just got done talking about trying new food and everything like that, and I realized I was talking to Ben, who was the co-host for last week.
Yeah.
But I was talking to him, and I was like, there's this one food that I've always wanted to try, but I've always been terrified to try, and it doesn't make any sense because I love most every component that's in it, but I've never tried Eggs Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I've never had it, and I think the thing is my mom used to get it all the time when we would, like, go out to eat, and I think the thing is, every time I go out to breakfast, I rarely ever go out to breakfast, so I just want to make sure that I get something good because I don't want to drop a certain amount of money on something that I'm just like, yeah, that was all right, or just be like, no, I hate it, like, because it's so over and like the hollandaise sauce is, I think, the thing that scares me. It's over everything. It's like if you were like, I don't really know if I like biscuits and gravy because I'm not sure of gravy, and you're like, well, I like biscuits, but the gravy's the questionable part. Like, it's everywhere. So like, I think within the next week, I'm like gonna try to man up and try some Eggs Benedict. But I just realized that I'm like, man, I've been meaning to try this for years now, and I've just always been like, I'm gonna get it, and then the game has changed on me over the years of me trying to get it, because now it's even fancier. There's like, do you want it with like avocados and stuff like that?
And it's like, oh no, whoa, no. Why didn't I order it when there were fewer options?
It's just normal. Like, I don't know what normal Eggs Benedict tastes like. I don't know if I could, like, because what if I get disappointed? Like, what if I get like the fancy one with like the avocados and everything in it, and then like I go and I try it, I'm like, I really like that, I'm gonna try Eggs Benedict, and then I get it and it's just disappointing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you gotta be disappointed first and know that the special thing is what's good.
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's what makes it.
Yeah.
Like, are there any foods that you've been wanting to try, but you're also terrified because you're like I don't know if I want to like risk it. You're pretty experimental. That's why I'm curious if there's one out there, because yeah.
That's a good question. I can't really. I mean, like, I've eaten bugs and stuff like that, and like that's fine. Like, especially the ones where they like fry the bugs.
Yeah.
Like they like fry like little worms and stuff in Mexico and like toss them in like powder like Doritos.
Yeah.
So they're just like little Cheetos with legs. You know, those are pretty good. I've had like tarantulas and scorpions and suckers and.
Well, I think that's the oddity about my Eggs Benedict thing, is like I've ate like cow tongue tacos. I've had like the little like bugs that have been fried up and stuff, and I'm like, you've ate these on a whim. Like someone's just like, hey, you want to try it? And I was like, absolutely, let's stock up on it. But I don't know why this particular breakfast object is just like, I don't know, man. What if I don't like the hollandaise sauce?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a rough one because like I've even done the thing where you like eat the live octopus, you know.
Oh yeah, where like you like pour the thing on it and it kind of like
no like it's just a little live octopus and you like just grab it with your chopsticks and then you whip its legs around.
Yeah.
And what that does is it makes its legs wrap around the chopsticks and just knocks it out. So it's like disoriented and then you just eat it, and like all of the sushi chefs at Ocean's Inn were eating them one day, and they dared me to eat one, and I was like, sure. I mean, it just tastes like octopus.
Like, why not? Let's do it.
And like as long as you do the whoosh, it's like Indiana Jones your chopsticks the right way.
Maybe that's the reason though. Is like I've had a lot of these different things because I'm like, oh, it's a foreign cuisine and stuff like that. I'm like I can say that I tried it and I'll sound adventurous, but this like eggs Benedict. Maybe I'm just worried about being either. Maybe it's either. That it's an American food that I feel like I should be used to if I try it, or I'm worried about being the greatest American traitor ever because of Benedict Arnold.
Right.
Like maybe I feel like an anti-patriotism thing about just being like, you can try eggs Benedict, but then you're gonna be hung and quartered.
Yeah, right. That's good.
It's just like it's the weirdest thing for me to like worry about that I just thought about worrying about this week. I was like, 'cause I think it was me and Chloe were talking about like we go out to eat occasionally, and sometimes I'm in the mood for breakfast. And so like this week I was like, do you want to get like breakfast food? And she's like, I'm not really feeling it. And then I thought about the eggs Benedict thing. I was like, that was the one night I was probably brave enough to go try it, and then we went and got tacos instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know what it is. You know what? I've honestly always wanted to try cheese that wasn't pasteurized.
Oh, like they do in France and stuff?
Like they do in France and stuff. I've always wanted to know what that tasted like, because I imagine that it's amazing.
Because it's illegal.
Yeah, right.
You can't get it here, it must be awesome.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like, well, if the whole point of making the cheese without pasteurizing the milk is to preserve the fat content and things like that,
right?
Then it's like there's got to be something better about it flavor-wise, because there's more fat.
Right.
And so that just makes me think that the cheese has got to be smoother and richer.
Well, it's just like chocolate milk when it's made with whole milk. It's way better than just like any other milk ever.
That's very true.
So I have been drinking that almond like chocolate milk, and that stuff is awesome too.
Mm-hmm. You know that stuff is like mainly water, and then like thickener, and then powders.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But it's still good. I'll give it that.
It's like rich chocolatey Ovaltine.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I wish Ovaltine would sponsor us for that too. Buy this. It's like rich chocolatey Ovaltine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, buy everything because it's like Ovaltine.
Because it tastes like Ovaltine. And you know that Ovaltine's been getting us since the 60s.
You know, right? So, did you watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see where they announced that it's going to have 5 additional movies?
I think you told me about that last night when you got back.
Yeah, I think
you were telling me about how, because I knew that they were doing a sequel, but you were telling me like it's supposed to end with like a big battle between Grindelwald and Dumbledore.
Young Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's played by in the next movie? He's at least played by Jude Law. I wonder if they're gonna keep him for the rest of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah. I'm excited about that though. I loved him in Young Pope, even though it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and like honestly, like Eddie Redmayne like wasn't one of my favorite actors really. Like I was always just kind of like, I don't know, I just kind of overlooked him, I would guess.
Yeah.
And so like seeing him in a Harry Potter movie was kind of nice, which makes me really want to go and watch The Danish Girl now.
I have yet to see The Danish Girl,
and
actually.
so it's like I'm interested to see how he did in that, and like I also like when I watched Jupiter Ascending, he did a pretty good evil villain in it. Like when I go back to it and think about it, it's like he did a pretty good job.
That's another one I need to see Jupiter Ascending. I never got a chance to see that.
I mean, like it was almost a really good movie.
It was like this shy of a really good movie, man.
Yeah, there was just like a couple like casting choices that were a little odd, and like the casting choices may have worked, but the way they edited it and like how much they tried to streamline the story, really just kind of made this whole story feel a little stale and like just 2-dimensional. But I mean, it's really pretty. When you look at it, it's really pretty.
I saw The Shape of Water last night.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Finally, it came to a theater near us. It was really, really pretty. It's very, very Del Toro. It reminds me a lot of Pan's Labyrinth in its making. Even I know a lot of people were really worried that the water monster would look a lot like what's his name from
Abe Sapien.
Yeah, Abe Sapien. But he doesn't. Like, that's the thing that I thought was really cool. Like, he's got these two characters that are roughly similar, even down to like the music and stuff that they play. But he doesn't, like, he looks kind of like him, like in some of the aesthetics, but he does a really good job at making it his own kind of like style.
Okay, cool.
It runs with the typical Del Toro kind of idea where there's always a language barrier, if not two, because she's mute in this. Like, the main girl is like mute in it and stuff like that. It's really, really good.
Okay.
Michael Shannon, my boy Michael Shannon, plays a fucking monster in it. Like, he is the evilest fucking government crony you can possibly imagine. He just reeks of, like, I'm in a secret organization in the government and you can't know it.
Yeah, right.
He's great. Like,
that's funny.
He's fucking evil, but he's great. Like, so that was really good. I saw that this last week. I think the last episode I talked about how I talked about all the other movies that I'd seen recently and stuff. Yeah. I got Chloe to watch Totoro this last week.
Fuck yeah.
And I also got her to watch The Secret of Arrietty, which I hadn't seen either. That's one of the Miyazaki films I hadn't seen. But I went ahead and bought it, and it was really fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I had something, I forgot it. Back to you.
Okay. So one of the things that I've been doing this week, in your absence, is I rediscovered that one website, Omegle.
Oh yeah, Omegle.
Like, yeah, where like you talk to strangers. I haven't been doing the video one because I don't want to see a bunch of wieners.
Yeah, right.
But I did do the chat, and I don't remember this on the last time, or maybe I just skipped over it and stuff. But you can actually put like themes that you want to talk about in there. Oh. So like you know, if you're more into like, I want to talk about, like, and there's still going to be people that obviously fuck with you on it.
Of course,
they just type in whatever they want and they just fuck with you. Or what I got most of the time is whatever I typed in, they'd be like, do you want to role play? And I'd be like, absolutely. And they'd be like, do you want to start? And I'd be like, sure. I'm a half-elf rogue, and you're a princess that's been tied up and locked over by a dragon. And then they would just leave me alone because I just pretended like I wanted to play D&D the entire time. But what I did find out is I started testing people on comedy. So I typed in comedy because I wanted to talk about it with people, and I would ask them questions like, I'd be like, what do you think the funniest show that's not supposed to be funny is? And they would tell me whatever show they thought was funny but wasn't supposed to be funny, and then I would tell them about what I thought the funniest show is. And obviously I'm going to have to explain it, but the funniest show that's not supposed to be funny, in my opinion, is a show called The Story of God with Morgan Freeman. And it's basically Morgan Freeman going around to all these different religious figures in the entire world. Like, he'll talk to Buddhists, he'll talk to Hindus, he'll talk to Muslims, he'll talk to Christians, like these main people, and he asks them what they think God is like. But if you take it from the specter of he played God in Bruce Almighty, it becomes this show to me that it's God going around to everyone that has a bunch of different religions and asking who they think he is without him ever dispelling that he's God. And so he just like listens to these people and then just kind of laughs and messes with them for a little bit. And then he just like walks off. He's like trying to do his own PR research.
Yeah,
He's
right.
Like, I wonder what people think I'm like and how I can improve things.
Yeah, right.
And it's hilarious to me. Like, it's just something that I sat on my couch and watched like 2 seasons of this. Yeah. And it's the funniest thing in the world. If I lived in the universe that Bruce Almighty existed, it's just God walking around being like, hey guys, what do you think God's like?
Yeah, right.
And then I start to imagine what it would be like to be me and just walk around, like, if everybody knew who I was, but they didn't know what I looked like, which is exactly what this podcast is about, now that I think about it. But if I could just go around and go, hey, what do you think? What do you think about Wes Potts? And just hear what everyone says about Wes Potts, and just go, okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah. But then I don't know. Would you be able to undercover boss and hold
yeah,
the
I don't know
cover?
if I don't know if I could like try not to defend myself.
Yeah, right.
Although then again, in the show, no one was like dissing God. Like they were just like, well, I think God is a lot like this. And he's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah, right.
so I guess I'd have to live in a world where no one was like, oh yeah, every one of his podcasts is a piece of shit, and like he has a little bit of a squeaky voice, and I hate him.
I hate him.
But yeah, so that's my funniest TV show. What about what would you say your funniest TV show is for a show that's not supposed to be funny, but if you look at it or spin the idea of it just a little bit, it becomes hilarious?
Skin Wars.
Is it the one where like they do the like body painting?
Yeah, the
thing?
body painting one. It's hosted by RuPaul.
Right.
But he's like trying his best to be just like a normal judge host.
Yeah.
But he's also RuPaul, so like it makes no sense to me. Like you've got all of these artists doing all of this like really cool work, and then you've got RuPaul who makes a bunch of comments that aren't related to anything and don't make any sense ever, and just are like he doesn't know what he's talking about because he's a host that's not interested in body painting. Like he thinks it's cool, but he doesn't know anything about it, seemingly. And all the judges are like, you need to fucking step your game up, or otherwise you're not going to come back next week. And they're just like mean as shit, and it's hilarious. And RuPaul's just there like trying to basically just keep the judges from sounding like total
Monsters.
assholes the whole time. And it's just like, it's kind of funny to watch because after a while it just follows the same predictable pattern of it's like, okay, show the artist with the art in the background, and he's talking about, oh yeah, how he did the thing that they were talking about 5 minutes ago. All right, and then you go on to the next thing, and it's like, okay, RuPaul makes a random comment related to nothing. Okay, pan over to the judges. One of them's looking at the art, doing a thing with a pen. All right, now we're panning back to the artist. He looks worried. Pan back to RuPaul. He makes a comment related to nothing. Back to the judges. One of them points, and they talk to each other, but you don't know what they say. And it's like the same cycle over and over again. And it just gets hilarious by the end of season 3.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I've never watched the Great British Bake Off. I've never seen it. I hear it's lovely. I like cooking shows. I'm surprised I haven't.
Yeah.
But I watched this week. I found on YouTube a whole like hour and a half episode that was like a quiz show, and it's got the guy from like one of the guys from Peep Show in it. It's got Maurice Moss from IT Crowd. It's a British show, and they do it every year. But it's called the Great Big Quiz of 2017, and basically they just give them like random things that happen in the year, and they have to answer them right.
Okay.
But one of the guys on there is also from the IT Crowd, as well as the Mighty Boosh. It's the guy who played Old Greg, Noel something. I can't remember what his last name is. But he is a host now on the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
And he only ever referred to it as that cupcake show that I'm on. Like, he could have cared less about it. He's like, yeah, I got to try a lot of cupcakes. He's like, but it's that cupcake show that I'm on.
Yeah, that's
and it's
pretty
hilarious because he just looks like this, like, tall, lengthy, goth, like, weird glam rock guy with all of these, like, little bakers. And everything. It's hilarious.
That's pretty hilarious.
It's like if you invited Nosferatu to a child's birthday party.
Yeah, right. Instead of a clown. Yeah.
But it was great. It was a lovely, lovely time to watch that. I watched all of it. It was phenomenal.
So, I completely forgot what I was gonna say again. I gotta quit doing this.
It's okay. No, you're good.
Hold on. I'm gonna figure this out. All right. No, I'm not.
I started work on another podcast this week.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So I've had this one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and obviously, most of my podcasts are hyper ridiculous comedy, like driven. I make loud noises and yell. But this next one that I'm working on is it's more focal point. It's based off of the idea of fear, like the emotion of fear. And I want to make a season, like a 10 episode. And I recorded my first episode the other night with a character that is going to go unnamed until the beginning of this show. But I thought it was interesting on it because it involves the concept of it is I don't want to have just like paranormal, because I already have my paranormal show.
Yeah, of course.
I have this show, but I wanted to do something that involved an emotion that everyone feels, and I felt like happiness is stupid. I can't be happy all the time with depression, so I don't want to produce a show with happiness. Sadness, also depression, will hinder me from doing that.
Yeah, right.
So I decided. I decided that no one would want to hear a show every week about how they were happy. No one would want to hear a show every week about how they were sad. So I decided that fear is the only other emotion that I know that every person has ever felt. Like when you're a child, you're scared of things. It doesn't matter what it is and stuff. It could be ghost. It could be anything else. But my first one isn't a paranormal one, even though there will probably be some on there. But it does involve. I thought it was really interesting. The first episode that I'm going to do involves brief preview, a gun being pointed in someone's face, and that's the terror. That's part of the terror of it.
Okay.
And so it should be really interesting. But hopefully I'll have that out like probably mid-year or something. Like collect a couple of them and start releasing them and stuff. But it's going to be called Fear.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye out.
It's going to be hosted by me. And me alone. Like there's not gonna So let's keep our fingers crossed that it turns out well.
Hope the show must go on.
The show must go wrong.
So, did you see the comments that we had about the fight?
I did. And for those of you who are strictly listening to this week, every week we do a super fight round, and this week's fight. This week's title or heavyweights are kindergarten class that are armed with a flamethrower
and a cheetah
that is a tween. So we've got a preteen cheetah fighting a fuckload of kindergartners with a flamethrower.
Yeah,
and
right.
Who would win? And I think we only got like one comment or something on this one.
Yeah.
And it was what was the outcome? It was
the cheetah.
The cheetah would win. So the cheetah wins for the second week in a row.
The cheetah, yeah. I think that's what we're gonna have to go with. I think her reasoning was that the kindergartners wouldn't even be able to keep away from the cheetah before they would even have time to shoot it with the flamethrower, and also it's a regular flamethrower, and there's a bunch of kids, so...
Right, it was regardless of how big the flamethrower is, the kids could not keep up with the speed of the teenage cheetah.
Right, so...
So cheetah wins.
A whole kindergarten class.
Lost to a cheetah.
Lost to a cheetah. And should we go ahead and draw for the next one as well?
I think so.
Okay. How about I'll do the white card this time.
Alright, and I shall do the...
Oh, sweet. Okay. Michael Jackson can make a force field while holding breath.
I think that I'm just gonna call it. My predictions and early registration is gonna be in on Michael Jackson because it's a force field.
And I don't know. He can only do it as long as he's holding his breath. I think the cheetah is going to become a dynasty.
Just gonna wait him out.
Yeah, tween dynasty.
Tween dynasty. It's gonna be our super sweet 16 cheetah against Michael Jackson that has the magical power of holding his breath and causing a force field around him.
Yeah. Super fight.
Super fight. And
fight.
Yes. Once again, thanks for joining us on Waking the Kraken. I'm Wes Potts.
I'm Alex Kahneman.
Thank you, and be sure to check out Alex's more stuff from Alex's studio this week. He's been posting a lot of like music and everything like that for
lots of free stuff for all you people to use and use on your things, and also stuff you can buy.
Yeah, and stuff that you can check us out with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.